Hey friends, what's up? How's it going? Today's video is on a book that's kind of a departure from the author. Her previous series was dark, but this is a new level of dark for her, and I'm loving it because I don't mind a dark romance. I like all kinds of romance. But this is definitely kind of a new avenue this author is taking, and she's one of my favorites. I have talked about her several times on my channel. I adore her. She's a one-click author. She's one of my favorites. I mean, it's not even a question whether I'm going to click on the book or not. The book we're talking about today is called Bullseye by Monica James. There will be 2 books in the series. Macy, what are you doing? My little partner in crime is over here, and she usually lays down. You should see her face right now. She's looking at me because she knows I'm talking about her. She usually lays down and goes to sleep, but right now she's walking all around my tripod, and she's making me nervous. Anyway, let's get back to Bullseye. Like I said, this is the first book in this series. There's going to be another book. I believe it's going to be a duet, so not technically a series. You know, I'm terrible with the lingo. I think I need to take a little class. Maybe some of my author friends will give me a little class as to what the right name is for all the genres, what are a series, a duet is obviously 2 books, or a trilogy. I understand that, but I need to get better with the lingo, and maybe it will make me feel a little more legit about the books that we read. Okay, I digress. Oh, she's right under here. I wish you could see her. Honey. A little humor for this dark book that we're going to talk about. So we knew that this was definitely going to be a different level of darkness for her, for Monica. She released an amazing trailer for this book. I just was like kind of dumbfounded when I watched it because the model, oh my gosh, he's not necessarily my type, but oh my God, did I appreciate his look. And now reading this first book, I'm like, how did she see him and then write the character from him? Or did she write Bull and then happen to find Andrew, the model? I mean, it was just uncanny how perfect that Andrew, the model, fits in and embodies this character, Bull. Bull is the main character, and then there's Lily. So Bull is not his real name. It was a name given to him while he was in prison, Bullseye. And his real name is Cody, but really Cody is not to be seen a lot in this book. It's mostly just Bull. And Lily is, like I said, the other female character. And she is a dancer. She corrects people when she's not a stripper. She's a dancer. She doesn't take all of her clothes off. I think that's a pretty important distinction, especially for her as a character. She doesn't give all of herself. She gives most of herself, but not all of herself in her profession. The book starts with Bull, and I mean, it pretty much starts right out of the gate. And I really try not to give spoilers, but I do talk in detail about the book and the characters, so just know that. Bull is freshly out of prison, and he spent 12 years in prison for a crime he committed. It's very heavy. It's very emotional. When Monica writes about what landed him in prison, there's a series of events, and then the final thing that he did to land him in prison, it was very heart-wrenching for me to read. She wrote it beautifully, if that's, it was really sad. So you understand why he went to prison and how his life was changed even before that. He gets out of prison, and of course he's on parole, and he needs to have a job and a place to live, and means to provide for himself, and he does that right away. What we then find out is that he has a plan about what he wants out of life and where he sees his life going and where he will end up, and that he is on that path. And it all has to do with why he was in prison and what brought him to being in prison. So you know that when you start reading it. But yet it was really beautiful in how Monica brought in some other characters that kind of looked beyond his outward appearance and knowing that he is an ex-con, and gave him a chance anyway. Because there's something about Bull organically that that Cody died and Bull was born. So when these characters are kind to him and help him, it's because they see the Cody inside of him. And to me, see, I'm even getting a little emotional about that. It was really quite beautiful the way she wrote that. But Cody does not make an appearance in this book, which to me was so heart-wrenching. There are times when I felt like we were going to see him, and we didn't. But yet he's always there. Anyway, you'll know what I'm talking about when you read the book. Lily is a single mom and struggling to raise a son by herself, no family. She has a very close friend that she works for, and then she has 2 jobs. She's a dance teacher, meaning ballet. Ballet is her passion. As a mom of daughters who danced growing up, one of them was on point at one point in her dancing life. When somebody is a dancer like that just feels the music organically and has to express themselves that way, and then being able to come along so far in a education to be able to get on point shoes, and how beautiful that is, and how beautiful ballet is, and how beautiful being able to express yourself through dance is, that is Lily. And I knew I got her right away. I understood her right away in that part of her life. The second job she has is, like I said, she is a dancer in a club. Not a stripper, but a dancer. So that's where she meets Bull. They are completely attracted to each other to the point of violence between each other. They feel this pull, this magnetic pull to each other that brings out this deep layer of literally, I have to think of another word because violence sounds horrible because it is. That's not the right word. The way he feels about her when he sees her and is like, it makes him mad, and it stirs up these super dominant, sexually dominant, wanting to deprave her, wanting to take her innocence and ruin her. And yet he's this big, strong guy. And he also feels the softness towards her in amongst all that. And he wants to protect her. And he doesn't understand any of that. He was in prison during very pivotal years of his life. So his growth as a person was stunted during those times because he was in prison. So there's this simmering violence within him, and she sparks it. They are like gas and a flame. For her, she has lived so long. For Lily, she has lived so long, having known great love in her life as a late teenager and then losing it completely, and that devastating her, and having nobody around her to support her and love her during that grief time after, and when she was trying to raise her son. And I mean, it's expensive, and it's like, you know, this real life romance that I enjoy so much reading. Bull was kind of socially awkward. So I touched on a little bit how he was in jail during very formative years, and that, you know, his growth, in my opinion, as a person was a little bit stunted during that time. But he's socially awkward, and I found it so endearing, and I was like, wait, does Monica mean to be writing him this way? Am I understanding that he just kind of doesn't understand social cues? And by the way, doesn't really care. He's like, this is me, this is how I feel, this is the way I am, and, you know, F you all, you know? So there was this interesting part to him where I was like, okay, but he doesn't really get it. But yet he kind of does in other ways. And then it was funny because Lily tells him that he has resting bitch face. And he was like, okay, whatever. And like went back to his place and like Googled it because he didn't understand what that meant. And then it was funny because he said, I don't know if I should be insulted or amused that she thinks that way of me. So he was funny. A man of very few words, really in his head about a lot of stuff, and yet uses his fists and his arms and his body to intimidate people, to kind of get people what they want. He's an observer, and boy, does Lily just confuse the hell out of him. There were some really special parts to this book that really stood out to me. And that being said, I didn't find myself totally connecting with Lily or totally connecting with Bull. Yet, I understood them as characters, and I'm invested in their story 100%. I am emotionally invested, and I connected with the story as a whole through different things that Monica wrote. But these few times that just stood out so much to me, and I highlighted as passages, to me were really, really special to me. One of those times was Lily is at the dance academy that she teaches ballet at, and she talks about dancing, and she is dancing after the class is over. This part, just as I read it, I really felt it in my heart. As I spin faster and faster, my blistered toes beseech me to finish, but I can't. It's only when I dance that I feel free. Free from this life that turned out nothing like I thought. The song comes to a close, and I end with a sequence of fast bouquet turns. Around and around, always running away, and when the last note fades, I face reality, breathless and spent. I get that. I understand that. And it really helped me bond with Lily, because God, her life was hard, you know? And just knowing exactly how she was feeling in that moment, and that her dance is a way for her to express herself, and she's a gifted dancer, it was really special. One of the other things that was just like, wow. I mean, there was just every emotion I felt during this time was a little bit later in the book. It's at her dance studio again. She's teaching a class, and after the class, and Bull is there. And I mean, you kind of forget, and I had to remind myself, because Monica gave us Bull so visually in the trailer, and the model that she picked, that was Bull, and he's on the cover of the book, so you see it. I have it. Where is it usually? I don't remember which side of me it's usually on. I think it's over here. You see, I mean, he's so physically imposing and interesting to look at. She also talks about how he has one blue eye and one green eye. So he just is this striking man. And he's sitting in her ballet class, and the juxtaposition between the softness of ballet and the fluidity that ballet has, and a tutu and pink. Ballet just always seems so soft to me. And then to know that Bull is sitting there and he's watching the class, and he, you know, it's like he's learning another part to her. And after the class is over, he says, dance for me. And she's like, well, you just saw me dance for an hour. And he's like, dance for me. I mean, holy smokes. That whole part there was just emotional and sexy, super hot, vulnerable. I mean, it just, every emotion you could possibly feel in this book happened during this scene as well. And I really hoped that that was going to be their turning point, because the push and pull that they have, oh my God, and they're so angry at each other and they want each other so bad. Their chemistry, when they give in to their chemistry sexually, it's off the charts. Their chemistry is also extremely violent. And they just are physical with each other. I don't mean like he knocks her around. Don't get me wrong as far as that goes. But when they touch, the visceral reaction they have to each other, and when they're in each other's presence, the visceral reaction they have each other is, and I know I know violence is the wrong word, but it's just explosive. That's the word. They are explosive with each other. So this scene was it was just everything. And I really hoped that that was when like things were gonna click into place. And nope, we have to keep going through that. Their story is not easy, and we have to keep going and looking and searching after that. But it was really sweet because, and this is one of those times where I felt like Cody showed through a little bit. You know, Tiger, I was going to call her Tiger because her dancer name is Tiger Lily, and he kind of uses Tiger as a nickname for her. And I don't know at this point in the book if she even knows his real name. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But in any case, this was a time when I felt like Cody showed through. After all was said and done with that, you know, she kind of jokes around that she's the one that always kisses him first. And she just can't help herself. And at the end of that, Bull says, I kissed you first. And it's like he needed her. He was acknowledging that in her because she felt kind of funny about it, that she was always the one that kissed him first. And he was like, I kissed you first. Like, I got you, babe. I'm here with you. I'm feeling it too. Their story gets twisted in a way that I did not see coming. And yes, it ends, I mean, it's not like a cliffhanger, but like, you know, there's a book 2, and I know there's a book 2. So I know it's not over, but boy, did it twist. I kind of thought maybe the one thing was going to happen that happened, and it did happen. Did that make sense? But oh my gosh, it's so, the fibers are woven together, and I'm like, after the book finished, after I finished it, I was like, what the heck's gonna happen? Oh my God. Monica's previous releases were the All the Pretty Things trilogy. Bad Saint, Fallen Saint, Forever My Saint. I did videos on those. I will put them down in the comments. Highly recommend. So that was dark for Monica. This is a shade darker. And I love that she is expanding herself as a writer to be able to go there, because dark romance, it can get super dark, and this is pretty dark, and this is pretty heavy. But I think where Monica's gifted is that she shows, in amongst all that darkness, vulnerability, people's souls. You still connect with them. There's a reason. It's not just brutality to write brutality, because it's not like that. So I really appreciate as a reader that she's pushing herself and pushing her boundaries. And because I want to do that as a reader, I want to do that. I want to push my boundaries. I want to learn new things. I want to read new genres. I want to find new authors. That's how I can identify as a well-rounded reader, by doing all those things. So I really have to applaud her for that because I think it's really amazing. Let me know if you have read Bullseye in the comments below, or any of Monica's other books. Let's chat about them. She's one of my favorites. I would love for you to take a second to subscribe down below, the big red button, and leave me a comment, say hi. Come on over to my social media as well. It's Kat Reads Romance on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm actually going to be starting a group, a Facebook group. And although I haven't come up with the name of the group yet, I will make sure that I have it in a place that's easy for you to find. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.